Greetings, Ohio Valley. This is Dan Lima with OSU Extension from Belmont County.
And this is Karen Cox from WVU Extension in Ohio County. Thanks for tuning in to Extension Calling, your source for research-based information for the farm, garden, and home.
Hello, Karen.
Hey, Dan.
My mouth is still a little dry because of the weather.
Oh my gosh, it is so terrible out there. To be in a place that is typically lush with water and to experience a drought for this long this summer has been an eye-opening experience to what people in the West go through all the time. So, hats off if anyone to the further west is listening that has to deal with droughts regularly.
Well, you got to be careful with when you say out west because west of Columbus is not a drought condition at all.
No, I mean, I'm thinking like southern Colorado, uh, Arizona, New Mexico, Southern California, that region has some pretty significant water issues. People who have to fight over water rights and,
Right.
that area is what I'm kind of thinking.
And just to compound things and make them worse, they even have to worry about saline water, which is the opposite of what you want in a drought, the opposite of what you want in water ever.
Well, for irrigating plants, yeah. For, if you need to irrigate your own blood or, or rinse out your eyes, saline is kind of nice. A
Oh,
little bit of
yeah.
salt in that water is helpful to balance what a human is. But for plants, they don't like that salt.
Oh, yeah, and that's the theme I was going with, Karen. So you're right. You're right, though. I mean, if I wanted to irrigate my eye, a little salt water might be nice. But if it's too salty, even that does harm.
This is true. There can be too much of good things. But from the plant's perspective, because, we're kind of looking out at our landscape and, we're really struggling, the farmers are really struggling with their, having access to forage. And a lot of them are feeding hay right now when they normally would be grazing. Or at least they've been feeding hay for a long while now. A lot of our pasture fields are totally brown. And some of our crop fields are totally brown as well. Corn didn't get too big. The pumpkins aren't too great. There's been some serious growing challenges for our farmers this summer. So if you typically go to a farm for a pumpkin or some corn stalks or something, we encourage you to continue to support your local farmers when things may not be as pretty as they normally are.
That's so right. And just for some perspective, corn is considered a warm season annual. It likes hot. It can tolerate to a point, we'll say, less than average rainfalls. And it is so stressed. I have not seen corn in this area ever so stressed since I've been here. So that's the past 10 years. It's just short, tasseling, really short, yields are low. We've talked about this, right? The ear fill is going to be partial. I haven't heard any yields yet because we're still in August, September transition.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say that I would expect this year to be a much earlier harvest than normal, especially for corn silage, because corn, the leaves are drying up for the silage and it's so short. So if farmers want any of it, a lot of them have already started harvesting. That's word of mouth. I haven't physically seen it, but it makes a lot of sense because you drive by those cornfields, and with that drought, the severe drought, it's like I said, corn is typically pretty tolerant of a little drought, but this is a severe drought and it's drying up the leaves. The leaves are protein, source of nutrient for livestock, which is the whole point of making silage. And because they are hedging their losses, they're assuming that the corn's not going to produce much and everything is going to be negative because of this drought. And once corn is affected by drought, it doesn't really come back. So it makes sense to harvest what you got because it's probably not